Hey everyone, got a good one here for you. There's been some requests around multilingual bots. Um, Learned how to do this myself just today, so hopefully I can help keep this simple process for you guys. So everyone, just a demo. Everyone's seen my Yoda bot, where we kind of ask questions of like who is Luke Skywalker, and I use the out of the box generative node. We can see all the messages are in English. It responds, right? But I've also set it up now to where I've added the ability to do Spanish. And so once you do that, you can actually switch to the Spanish language and test. And we can see that now I actually have an introduction in Spanish. Some of it needs a little work. We'll understand why in a little bit. But for start, I have that. And then I can ask a question about, again, who is Luke Skywalker? And we will now get our generative answer back. Even the messages are translated, and we'll get our message back in Spanish, and it's even gone far enough to include like the appropriate grammar, which is actually pretty neat. So it's not just a question mark at the end, but it has the beginning punctuation. And it's pretty easy to do this. It's more tedious than anything. So if you pop over to your settings and then click on languages, if you click add language and choose a language, so in this case, I'll choose French because I've already chosen Spanish. So if you click add language, you'll notice next to it, there's a box where it says localization. And so there's this process of downloading the current JSON manifest of this bot, running the translation, and then re-uploading it. And so if I flip over to my VS Code, we can see where I have the JSON body of my bot, and we can see each and every one of the queries. So I need to talk to an agent and all those kinds of things. And then I've recreated the exact same document where the responses are in Spanish, and that is what we upload. I'm going to close my team so that we don't just get messages popping up. Now, the process for doing that sounds a bit tedious, and I agree that it is, but it works. And the way that I've done it is I've actually gone into Bing, and I've just created a prompt, and I still can't get rid of my team's messages. Please go away. All right. Where I've created a prompt that just asks it to translate the value pair of the JSON key value. And so I literally went through, because there's a character limit, I pasted it in chunks, and it responded with the actual appropriate JSON, which is why some of the translations we have to read through, right? So if you noticed in the intro message, it said I'm a IA chatbot or something like that instead of AI chatbot. So it'll take somebody reading through it to be sure. But literally, I did that for each one of the blocks, pasted them into VS Code, and then saved it. So I would have been able to modify this here, so I can make this to where it should say, AI. And then I could save that. And then all I do is go back to Copilot Studio, and then I would click Browse and choose that file to upload. So in this case, I'm going to redo my Spanish one. Choose my Yoda Spanish. Click Upload. Upload localization. We should get a success message at the top if it was able to upload and process the file, and I do. And so now if I close this and go back to my bot, we can see that it actually has processed that new change. And so the way that this actually works is we don't need to do one of those age-old things where we ask the user to identify, press 1 for English. Para continuar en español, press 2, right? Like, we don't need that piece. What this does is there's actually a variable that there's a system variable that's being populated. And just to quickly show you the variable, it's called like user language. Yep. And that is actually pulling it from the user's browser session. So in the test window, I'm having to manually switch between Spanish, English, and French at some point to be able to see, how my language file is working. But our user, when they log in or when they enter it, it's going to pull that information from their system. So the same way we pull the time zone or any of this other information, it's going to grab the language setting of their browser, and that's going to determine their experience. Of course, we can make it so that they can change that variable, right? Like if you want to continue in a different language, please select here, right? We have the ability to continue with that, but it's nice that there's this automatic detection process, and we are able to test, all of our prompts directly from here. If you have any questions, please let me know. Look forward to talking to you guys.